Good. Hello and welcome, everybody. My name is Laurent. Co-hosting this session with me is Andy Shaw-Rogers. We are super delighted and happy to welcome you to this session, the Sustainable Materials Showcase at Co-Expo 2022. Over the next 1 hour, or let's rather say over the next 55 minutes, we're going to guide you through Sustainable Materials Showcase. We're going to have a couple of very exciting speakers tell us about the current and the future trends of sustainable materials. We're going to have the best in practice present themselves, and we're going to have the opportunity to ask questions and get answers. But before we do that, I would like to hand over this very virtual microphone to Tamsin Lejeune, the founder of Common Objective, who is the best suited person to talk us through what Common Objective is.
And a very warm welcome to everyone to our second session at Co-Expo. So what is Co? Welcome to Co. Co, we set up as a community for change. I know a lot of you in the last session, so I'm going to make this quick. But on the Co platform, we have some incredible people, over 50,000 members now, all committed to a common objective. That is a business that works better for everyone and the planet. And what we try to do on Co, it's a bit like a LinkedIn. So for those of you who haven't spent a lot of time on there, we're always adding new things. We've got some great new functionality that we'll tell you about in this session. But you can create an individual profile and you can update your preferences at any point. And this is really worth doing because the point of Co is that it's a matching platform. So it will match you with individuals, with suppliers, with buyers, if you're a supplier or a brand. And it'll match you with over 300 resources. So do take the time to update your individual profile. You can create a business profile, and that's what we're going to showcase in the next phase of today. We're going to be representing businesses that have created profiles on Co. There's two algorithms that sit behind Co, and the second one is the most important from my perspective. It's our sustainability algorithm, and it defines how high your ranking is on the site. If you have a business profile, the more sustainability information you put in there, the higher your ranking and the more views you get on your profile. And we're trying to create a race to the top where we create a positive community that's striving for best practice. I wanted to also very briefly tell you about the awards, because just yesterday we announced the winners of the Co 10 businesses that are excelling in best practice in the fashion industry. 5 of those are suppliers and 5 are brands. And we have 2 of those suppliers in the session today. So congratulations to them, but also it's a chance for everybody in the room to connect with them and learn about how they got there. Every business that we showcase at Co-Expo, we have 2 levels of showcase. We're going to put the spotlight on a handful of amazing businesses. To participate in Co-Expo, you need to have a business profile on Co, of course, but you also need to meet our leadership awards criteria. That means committed to sustainability, and there are 5 other criteria that apply to that. And finally, just to mention that for those of you who may not be so familiar to Co, you can connect with anybody in the session now on the site. You can go to their business profile, you can find out who you should connect with, you can message them. And we've tried to do more this year. The slides that you're looking at now are on Co. We'll give you the link at the end of the session. You can go straight there and see them, no delay. And we also have created a hub where you can connect with all the businesses that are participating. So thank you. I'm going to pass back to our co-hosts to introduce the suppliers.
Thank you so much, Tamsin. It's always great to hear you speak about Co. It is one of the reasons why I initially then joined the team, because she is all, as we say in German, Feuer und Flamme. She's all fire and flame about sustainable fashion. Amazing. Let us continue and let us quickly hear from our amazing speakers. We have Helen Palmer and Rodrigo Lopes in the room. And while I could actually write let's say, a quick intro to them, I'm actually going to give them each 30 seconds to 1 minute to quickly introduce themselves so you can get to know them as well as I got to know them and see that they're not just lovely people, but also amazing thought leaders in their space. Helen, it's so nice to see you. Why don't we start with you? Why don't you introduce yourself quickly?
Thank you very much for inviting me. I hope my sound's okay. My name's Helen Palmer, and I have been working at WGSN for about 17 years. So I came into the organisation to set up the materials and textiles division of the fashion part of the business. And myself and my team, we provide our brands and retailers and suppliers, subscribers with very regular information on fabric and textiles and knitwear and yarn information. And we go everything from forecasting to 2 to 5 years ahead. We do a lot of work on sustainability and innovation. And then we also report on trade shows and catwalks and the sort of market analysis side. So we provide a sort of one-stop shop for our clients that want to know about what's happening in textiles and materials. And I have to say there's a lot going on in materials and textiles right now. So I'm very happy to be here and part of this initiative. It's brilliant. So thank you for inviting me.
Thank you so much, Helen. It is great to have you in the session. There is a lot going on, and one of the drivers of this a lot going on is Rodrigo Lopes, who is in the session today as well. Rodrigo, why don't you take your time to quickly introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. Well, I just want to say that I'm very happy to be part of the Expo again, and also very excited to have won one of the CO 10 Leadership Awards. So we are all very excited about that. Well, we are part of CO already for almost a year, and well, we are a company that we promote innovative ideas that transform natural resources or waste into unique products, from fashion to interior design, and from a plant leaf material that you see behind me or a unique weaving material that we use cotton leftovers, to a recycled textiles that has a B Corp certification. We try to promote and offer alternatives for brands that want to make a difference in the market. So yeah, that's about it, and I'm very excited to be once again here with you and to explain a little bit more about our views on the present and on the future.
Amazing. Rodrigo, thank you so much. We are very proud to have Rodrigo today in the session, not just because he's a CO10 leader, but also because he's a returning co-member. This is all about community. The community is a longevity type of thing. We're not just here for these couple of days. This is a family evolving around sustainable fashion. And when I talk about sustainable fashion, we have to talk about the hottest topics in sustainable fashion. And one of the hottest topics in sustainable fashion, of course, is material innovation, because it promotes, or let's say it promises to make fashion more circular and more sustainable. And whilst the synthetics unfortunately still make 2/3 of the market, there is an emerging trend in leather alternatives. So I'd like to focus this session a little bit on that. Helen, my first question goes to you. How are leather alternatives currently placed in the grand scheme of things, and how do you see them currently perceived?
Well, that's a really good question. So, so for us at WGSN, obviously we've been tracking with interest this family of materials for a long time. And I can honestly say that the consumer is really starting to embrace this. I mean, obviously the consumers of today are much more switched on to sustainability. They're very, interested in, the impact that materials have. Also, we've seen a lot of lifestyle change around sort of veganism as part of the sort of environmental issues as well. And I just think that there's so much innovation in this space. I mean, we've been sort of interested in this area for a long time, and we do promote these materials as part of our materials coverage. I think that obviously they don't come without some challenges, and I'm sure Rodrigo is going to talk a bit about that as well. But I would say that certainly for us, we're seeing a lot of brands working with partners to develop these, and obviously you've got some leaders in the market who've been around for a long time, such as people like Pinatex that we've been following. But there's just new innovations coming out all the time as well, which is really interesting. So we've been following. I think for example, Vijaya, the wine-based leather. This is really interesting. I mean, it has been piloted in store with H&M, and you can really see that brands are sort of really starting to back this. And we're at a point where, I think scalability is starting to sort of move forward. So I think, the customer, when these materials are coming into store, especially with high street brands and sort of leading brands and sports brands, you can see that they're really gaining traction on the market in terms of social media, in terms of just general visibility. So for us, I think when we're talking to clients about looking at these materials, I think it's just a case of finding the right partner to work with, trialing it and seeing how it works, and that with a view to these starting to scale up. So I think it is a very exciting space. We've also been recently looking at, there is a lot of fruit-based leathers appearing on the market. So mango, obviously the pineapple leather, apple leather. And again, they're just really interesting innovations. So they're lower impact. And I think that they are probably, rather than replacing leather, they are kind of replacing the sort of plastic-based leather alternatives. And I think a lot of the brands we talk to, that's where they see these materials being important. It's not necessary for them about replacing leather per se. It's about finding lower impact alternatives to replace the kind of plastic-based materials.
Amazing.
Yeah.
This is the WGSN perspective, everybody. You understand that there is more and more willingness from the customer side to move into the space. Brands are actually looking to adapt it, but sometimes it's the hardest thing is finding the right partnership. Rodrigo, you have been building partnerships in this space. How has it been for you? Do you see the commercial adaptation yourself? And what are challenges that you're currently facing?
Well, there are many opportunities in this sector, Loha, but the challenges are also as great. We, as Helen mentioned, scalability is still a challenge that we are facing. We are about to launch this year Belief, which there are a lot of customers waiting to be launched, and we have faced many challenges on that part, where we had to develop from the ground, that there's no machinery, there's no products that we can apply to such a material. So we have to come up with many solutions to be able to introduce this material to the market. I think there's so many great things being launched at the moment. As Helen mentioned, we just now have been participating the last few weeks on trade shows again, which is amazing to be able to see face-to-face customers once again. And we saw so many amazing materials being introduced, and that there's lots of newness to the market. But we see that the brands are still also trying to find the way to introduce this, and how they can apply that to their collection. And of course, cost is a major factor for everyone. While we try to introduce innovation, that there is a big cost pressure, and it's not easy to introduce sustainable materials with a lower price, and that's a big challenge today that we face. That there are a lot of brands that want to introduce the materials, but they cannot afford it, or their price point is not there. So and I think that's something also that's changing, and it has to change a lot for the future. That consumer awareness, that sustainability and fast fashion, they don't work together. So we need to work more and more on this consumer awareness, that sustainability is also that are pieces that have a big value, that they cannot be offered at 10-20 euros in the shop. And I always say that sustainability is a long journey, and we have a lot to do, and we have to take one step at a time. And so I always talk to the brands we are working with that, don't let that stop them to launch a product. Don't let them that stop them to be more sustainable, because sometimes they're searching for perfection, and they want to, oh yeah, but this is not 100% biodegradable. No, it's not. There's very few options that are today 100% biodegradable, but we are working hard to reach that. But what do we do in the meantime? I think we have to keep working. We have to introduce the products to the market, and along the way we'll certainly be launching improvements and better options. So as we see as well on our products, there are always things that need to be improved, but it takes time. It takes time, and if we wait until we get to the perfection, it's gonna take far too long, and we have to start now.
What you're saying here, Rodrigo, I think is really insightful. You're very right. It takes time. Sustainability is a long game. Yet we are in a very fast-paced fashion market. And brands who start developing certain things, or let's say certain products, it seems almost like they've started it, they've developed it, but then already time has passed and already the next thing is out. Do we have to now focus on the new thing, or are we still keeping, what we have? So essentially what brands need to do is they need to have a holistic approach and more of a future view on where sustainability and material innovation is moving into, while understanding how they can change the fast pace. Right. And when we look into that, or when we have, because we have a lot of brands here attending today, and I think this is a question for you, Helen, if as a brand, we're now looking into moving into sustainable and alternative materials in the next couple of years, what is a space that is going to probably be very valuable to watch? What is going to be the hot topic?
Crikey, that's such a big question. And there's really there's probably quite a lot of routes. I mean, one of the things we say when we're talking to brands, and obviously a lot of our subscribers and brands, a lot of them are leaders, market leaders, and some of them are less sort of established in sustainability, but everyone is on a journey. I suppose it is about looking at the sort of short, medium and long term, really, and that's what we're really saying. So, for example, the first thing to do is to look at what you're doing the most of right now, and then see where you can make changes. That can be sort of, taking the polyester, but that can be just be moving from virgin fibre into recycled fibre. And then there's the sort of end game. So if you're taking something like polyester, there are innovations on the market that are iterating that are really exciting and interesting. So it's kind of like, can you move into bio-based? So that again, that's a longer term strategy where you're looking at things that are emerging on the market, finding partners, and looking at whether that polyester that you're doing a huge amount of in your range can be you can develop into more compostable, biodegradable version, for example. You can also look at monomateriality. So, looking at your garments, all the elements being made of polyester fit for more easy recyclability. And then I suppose the issue around things like polyester are just the fact that recycled polyester is great, but also it's using plastic bottles from another industry, and we have all this textile waste that we need to make use of. So, textile to textile recycling is really the end game for polyester. But again, it's, we need the infrastructures, we need the investment to make that reality. And the same when, if you're in natural fibers, so it's looking at where you can make, you can switch to, preferred cotton from standard cotton. But then again, innovation, there's some really exciting things happening in the cellulosics area. So where can you offset some of your cotton for sustainable certified lyocells? And then beyond that, you've got more circular, the new generation cellulosics. So people like, for example, Lenzing, their Refibra fibre, and then all the amazing innovators as well. So looking at, for example, New Cycle, looking at Spinova, and these sort of fibres that take in a lot of our pre and post consumer waste and sort of make use of waste. So I think really the short answer is circularity, which is a really long-term aim, and then I would say for the natural fibers, looking at regenerative fibers and sort of lower impact fibers there, and then the sort of circular approach in the natural fibers. So yeah, there's just, I think really there's a lot of big shifts with very long-term investment that are going to really have a big impact, but it's going to be a way for companies to just to really look at what they're doing and see where they can put investment into the long term, because I think that's where the benefits will come.
Amazing. Helen, thank you so much. I hope everybody got their pencils out and wrote down a couple of things, because Helen just gave you quite a good plan for the next couple of years. If you didn't catch it, look at what you're doing the most, focus on that first. Understand your short, mid, and long-term strategy, or let's say short, mid, and long-term way you're moving into, and look at circularity and regenerative fibers. Let me just catch up the short, mid, and long-term thing quickly for you, Rodrigo, because on the other side, as a factory and manufacturer, you need to move in the same direction as your customers, the brands do. How do you see short, mid, and long-term play out for Global Green?
I think there will be a lot of improvements on biodegradability. As Helen mentioned, bio-based materials. I think this is what the biggest area that we're going to see improvements. We have been working with different chemical companies to work on top finish bio-PU, which is a major game changer for us. That as when we reach that, we will be able to offer whether a leather or leather alternative that can be completely biodegradable. I think this is where we're going to see a lot of improvements in the next few years, and it is already happening. But we just now have to work on the scalability and to start applying that on our products.
Amazing. You brand owners who are in the session today, you are exceptionally good at marketing. So let us all make sure that through your marketing, you increase the awareness of your customers. And with that, you can start working together with Rodrigo. Can even at one point get your own membership at WGSN for Helen Palmer. Of course, keep paying for Common Objective, because we're being very upfront about that one. And of course, and change the face of the industry. Helen and Rodrigo, thank you so much for your insight today. It was really valuable. It is something I was looking forward to for a long time, and I think a lot of us got quite a lot of amazing nuggets of gold from it. I'm going to pass on to Andy now, who's going to introduce more of our suppliers who are showcasing in this session today.
Super. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much. That was fascinating. And equally as fascinating are several suppliers we're about to hear from. So to kick things off, we are going to start with hearing from Shalini, Moral Fiber. And Moral Fiber have just won one of the Co-10 awards along with Global Green. So excited to hear from you, Shalini, a long time co-member, part of the community here.
Hello, everyone. I'm really enjoying the conversation that has been going on today. We come from a completely different angle, but still doing the same thing. We work with a highly traditional hand-spun, hand-woven fabric, which is carbon neutral, supports the community, but it comes very much from the craft background. So in our situation, people always believe that you are sort of gone and dead, and we don't really want to work with people who follow old tradition. But we believe very strongly and show it with our work and with our fabric range, etc., that tradition is not static. It still moves in spite of the old core values that we really believe in, which is handcrafted fabrics that are almost carbon neutral and supports thousands of people in the community. So we still follow the same principle, but we have a completely new, innovative way that we are constantly chasing and trying to figure out how to deliver the core values, but with the changing lifestyle, changing expectations, and changing the client needs. So in terms of environment, we start working more and more locally. We work with organic, recycle, bamboo, other grasses, lotus, all those kinds of yarns, and work with those materials and integrate that innovatively with the tradition that we work with. We have new equipments that we are working with. We've come up with absolutely amazing solar spinners, so that though we still follow the almost carbon neutralness, but the production is completely different. And again, it's still based as a kind of a rural technology. We work with environmental saving values, which is where we are trying to trace the impact of water consumption, carbon footprint, and also the land use, pollution, etc. So those are the kind of values that we are trying to put into our own traditional ways of working. Also, we work with communities in a very different way. We work with more equitable community base where people are partners in the business. We work with blockchain. We work with a kind of a layered approach where the artisans remain still at the center, but we have a layered professional working on top of it. So the production is constantly evolving, and they work as a kind of a training base and design base for the production to come. So these are the kind of things that we are working and constantly evolving and developing new kind of products, new kind of responses to the challenges that we have. And I think that is where Morofab stands right now. So I'll be very happy to answer further questions, because we come from a completely different kind of background. Thank you.
That's amazing. So important as well. Thank you for sharing all that, Shalini. Just for those people who don't know how Common Objective works in terms of how you can connect with people you hearing from Shalini and others, we have business profiles on Common Objective, and they're being URLs are putting in the chat at the moment, and you can click on those and then connect with Shalini if you visit the Moral Fiber business profile. So please do reach out to her and the other speakers as well, and to continue this conversation. Next up, we have Lucas from MTI USA. And I believe Lucas is in the room now. If you could unmute and show your video, we look forward to hearing from you.
Hello. Hi everyone. Yes, so my name is Lucas and I'm with MTI USA. We are a New York-based sourcing agency. We've been around for around 20 years, and we work with sustainable suppliers, whether that means that they have like an ethical approach to manufacturing, or great labor conditions in terms of the workers. We also work with some suppliers that engage in regenerative agricultural practices, as well with recycled materials, and also sort of like newly developed cellulosic fibers, or not new, but rather super sustainable cellulosic fibers like tencel and Naya acetate. Yeah, and I think what's most exciting in working on this side, or sort of like the creative process, is that we are able to guide our clients, the brands that we work with. And so then we're always at the forefront of exposing what's out there, like new developments, new technologies that are available to be, that are readily available to actually hit the stores, which I think is super important, because especially in the sustainability world, I think at first it's someone said that before, it's like getting the word out there and making sure that people understand what they're trying to engage with. And at MTI, we're always trying to communicate the best as we can with our customers and US-based brands.
Superb. Thank you, Lucas. That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So yeah, to connect with Lucas, the link to MTI USA is in the chat. Please get in touch with him and ask any further questions, particularly if you're in the US, as they can help you. Moving on to Cocoon, and we have Prakash in the room. Prakash, you want to unmute? Delighted to have you here. can't.
Moment.
There we go.
Some technical issues here. I cannot make my video on.
We can hear you, which is the main thing, but it would be nice to see you if it does work.
Am I visible now? Okay.
You are.
All right. Such a wonderful talk. I was lost in learning so many things, you know. So hello, everyone. This is Prakash, founder and CEO of Project Cocoon. I started this project it's already like 10 years now. My God, cannot believe now. So, and thanks to Ethical Fashion Forum, we did all together from beginning. And the idea was like to make a company which is social company. A social infrastructure has to be boosted in one of the poorest part of the world. My project is in Jharkhand, which is the poorest part of India. And our first idea was to make kind of economic upliftment of the common people there. Then we learned how to make silk, and then a lot of people ask why silk. So you know, I'm also have material background, so I tried with I thought about viscose and polyester, but then I also imagine what would happen in next 10 years. Like for viscose, we need every year almost millions of trees, and then biodiversity loss going to be there. And if you're too much focused on polyester based, then you know what's happening around us. All the war happened because of oil, and fashion industry has also its own contribution towards all this war. So I thought like silk is the best fiber for me. Because it creates greenery, it provides employment, which is very important for countries like us in India, and no CO2, no, if you don't need any chemical. And from my side, like my contribution, there are many firsts. Like we were one of the first project in the whole world to use regenerative agriculture for fashion raw material. We used precision agriculture, we used IoTs and you know, satellite for to control if things are going good. And we are now, I mean, we started with typical craft like handloom, but we created a fabric for modern use. Like what I'm wearing right now is also handloom. So we created cool tweeds for jackets. So our brands are all the top brands in Paris. We introduced power loom in 1917. We have cool satin also now. Many new invention we did with our waste fiber. We have a silk fur, which can be seen on different ramps in Paris Fashion Week. So many new, I mean, we are always working. We have a big team of R&D. We are also trying to develop 3D filament out of silk, which will be 100% biodegradable. It's a long journey, which is still going on. So we try to blend also craft with modern and Industry 4.0. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Prakash. It's great to have you here. So please, yeah, connect with Prakash, anything on silk. He's the guy. So thank you. Next up, we got Nativa, and Maria Estrada was going to be present Nativa to us, but I don't think she's here. So I'll mention them. And you can find out more on their business profile, which you can link to in the chat, and you can connect with Maria there to learn even more. They supply luxury combed wool with blockchain traceability. Their 50 years of thought leadership in wool has led to a data-driven approach to material traceability, and they also provide verification through the scanning of a QR code. There's a lot more on their business profile, and please do reach out to her if that little snippet is of potential interest to you. Moving on to Andreas Reinhardt from Organic Lace by Modespitze. It's great to have you here, Andreas. Please do share more.
Hello. So this is Andreas. I'm head of Organic Lace in Germany. So thanks for the great session and the interesting informations about new materials. So when it comes to our collection, it's called Organic Lace. It means, are we doing embroidery and embroidered chiboules using certified materials And the focus here is how you bring some luxury and transparency into a collection. So here we offer a no minimum quantity collection for bridal wear, but we also do customs developments and using new fibers, new materials. So to showcase only, this is a pea silk organza coming transparent, embroidered with organic cotton. Both got certified, or here something more transparent, less embroidered. And if we talk about Shipur lace, it's something like this, also comes in motifs and stripes, for example. So what we're doing on top is also making production orders in the field of one field is, for example, labeling, have textile labels, something like this for underwear, could be in cotton, but also very good in lyocell. So as regards care and washing. And the same holds for something like this. So we introduce something new in transparent and elastic using Naya tool, also transparent again for lingerie. What we do is specialized in quality embroidery based in Germany. We do that in fourth generation since 124 years here. And since all began here with cotton, and then rayon, viscose came up, later on polyamide, polyester, decades. We turned about back to cotton 10 years ago and have become the first got certified embroidery material supplier at all in 2016. And since that, we introduce new materials year by year. So that's our main thing we do.
Superb. Thank you for showing those things on as well to the camera. That really helps to understand. That's brilliant. Really, really great. So the link is in the chat. And last but by no means least, Pigeon Wishes. We have Yu Hao here, the director of Pigeon Wishes.
Oh, hello, everyone. Very glad to join this meeting. It's really amazing. So my name is Yu Hao, and I'm the director of Pigeon Wishes. We are based in Liverpool, UK. So we sell vegan-based cellulose fabric, like Helen said, Tencel and Bimberg Cupro cone fibers, rose fibers, and Naya, the trail acetate. So we also kind of supply cellulose-based buttons. I just had one here. So they all kind of 100% biodegradable. Our unique selling point is first is our product is generally have a better qualities because our cellulose Tencel is Lenzing certified, and the Cool Pro is Bimberg certified, which is from Japanese Kawasaki, a manufacturer. And basically, every product is certified. Our Sorona and cone fiber is certified by DuPont, and the trail acetate is certified by Naya. And also, my wife is a kind of a sewist, and me graduate from textile universities. So we have a lot of experience and knowledge of fabric. I think most of the challenge for the brand and retailers is they have a lot of questions. There's a lot of information on the internet, but they can't tell what is the true purpose of producing a fabric. For example, in terms of cotton fabric, the biggest polluting point is actually dyeing. There's a lot of emissions and clean water to washing the clothes dye. Yeah, so if you kind of interested in vegan-based cellulose fabric, we definitely the source in UK. we have hundreds of different colors that are available instantly, because we got 2 warehouses at the moment, one in UK and one overseas, just because after Brexit, we kind of have to supply European customers. So yeah, we have the cellulose-based fabric, and if you buy our fabric, we can also provide some professional consultancy service as well. So yeah,
amazing. So mainly UK, but also the rest of Europe. Is that, have I got that right?
At the moment, we supply globally.
Okay.
Yeah, but because I'm in UK, so if you want to have a personal chart, or if you want to see the fabric in person to our warehouse, welcome.
Brilliant. Thank you, Yuhao. That's great. So yeah, please connect with Yuhao. We're going to move on now. Thank you all so much for speaking so clearly and passionately about the things you offer. And we are going to quickly show you, everyone here, a few more suppliers. So we've got a number of suppliers on Common Objective. And here are examples of some more who relate to this theme of sustainable materials. We're not going to go in depth, but all of these ones you can visit in the Expo Hub, which a link will be put in the chat, and they're listed there. So there's Anupurna, who are in India, and they supply hand-woven rural textiles using indigenous weaves and techniques. Symphony Fabrics, who supply premium quality GOTS certified organic fabrics and also apparel. Mojo Panda, who supply GOTS certified organic wool and silk. And Naturtex, who are in Peru, and they supply yarns, fabrics, apparel, and accessories, and they use organic fibers. Thermor, who research and produce thermal insulation for garments. They're based in Italy. Alma Green Design in Spain offer fully circular sustainable bedding from recycled cotton, as well as some other products. And Marisim, they work with skilled artisans with rich textile making, embellishing, and farming practices. As I say, they're all available in the Expo Hub. These slides will also be, a link will be put in the chat now to all of these slides. And you can link from these slides to any of the businesses that I've just mentioned, or any of the speakers we've heard from today. We're going to jump just for a couple of minutes onto the Common Objective website to show a tool which is called Co-Create. And of course, Expo is all about connecting suppliers and brands and finding the right solutions and partnerships that then result in great products and high impact. And we have this tool on Common Objective that helps to facilitate that further. And the way it works is you can, if you have a specific requirement, it could be a garment, it could be a collection, it could be fabric or accessories, then you can head to Co-Create and start a project. All this is, it's a 5-minute process. You click new project, and then you choose between either the fabric route or the apparel and accessories route. As I say, it doesn't take long, and you have to have a business profile on Common Objective to use this. And once you've finished the process of submitting your project, at that point, suppliers can contact you. So there is some privacy stuff around it, because we recognize some people want to hide who they are, for example, initially, and then just let the suppliers know once they've approved that information, once they've approved that they're willing to share that information with the supplier. So you can choose to hide your business name. You can, and then automatically you will also hide any tech packs or images that you upload until you grant approval to a supplier. So this is the process. You put in your certifications and your required sustainability practices, your preferred sustainability practices, and then some other information which is optional. Once you've gone through all of this and submitted your project, suppliers will then see on a list on the Common Objective website a brief summary of your project along with other projects, and at that point they can request full information. This is optional, this select file, and that's it. Then you just submit the project. So if we just take a quick look at what if you are a material supplier or a manufacturer, then this is the page that you will be most interested in, and you can see a brief summary of each of these projects. And to get full access, you simply click request full access. The brand can then choose to share the information with you. And at that point, you can, if you feel you're a right fit and you're interested, you can submit a proposal, which is equally as painless. It pulls information from your business profile into your proposal so that it takes its minimal effort. It's a new tool. We only launched a couple of months ago, and we're excited by it. We're getting some great feedback. So just one thing to highlight, and then very quickly, just an overview of another thing we offer just is around learning. So we've learned a load of stuff today. It's been absolutely fascinating. And that fits very much into what we at Common Objective are about. And so we have a whole area of the website dedicated to articles, and we are constantly adding new information. Here's just some examples. Some of it, we have a number of fabric switch guides, for example, which are practical. They give some insights, some stats, and then they also offer practical solutions. And then also we recently launched the co-training credits, and these are email training series. So it'll pop into your inbox once you've signed up for them, and you can then do those in your own time, at the end of which there's a quiz. You get a logo on your individual profile once it's complete, like that. And then it also, any business that you are linked with, it gives that business a boost in the algorithm. So when someone comes to Common Objective to search for a particular type of business, you will appear higher in the search rankings, because our search ranking is based on sustainability. To finish off, before hopefully we have time for a couple of questions from everyone. If you've got questions, I know some have been put in the chat. Just very briefly take you to the pricing page on Common Objective. We have a free plan, and then we also have one paying plan for individuals. That's called Associate, and that gives you access to all the pro content. So some of our content is free and some of it is for pro members. Pro events, so an example of a pro event is the webinar that's coming up immediately after this session, which is with 2 pro masterclasses as part of this expo. And then we have 3 business plans: Pioneer, Team, and Leader. And so Pioneer is the level to be at if you want access to co-create. That's just, you can sign up for just £39 a month, and that any of these plans can be cancelled at any time. And then I'll hand over to Tamsin to briefly mention the Leader membership before we go and discuss, possibly, if we've got time, some of your questions.
Thank you, Andy. Just to mention, I know we have a lot of representatives from larger businesses and larger teams. We have one business which has almost 100 of their team using Co. And to support that, we offer a team package. So you can get access for your team. You can get access for everybody in your business. Co is all about inspiring the next generation to operate in a more sustainable way. So we also work with colleges. We have partnerships with colleges, which can give you really low cost access for all your students. Co is an impact business. We're here to make a difference. That's our reason for being. But to do that, we need to also be able to scale up what we do. We're 50,000 members. We want to get to 100,000, and every pro member helps us to make that possible. We also have some exciting partnerships coming up with the project that we're going to be doing to build a hub around content that supports our members to operate and to deliver on the UN Fashion Industry Charter. And just to show you here in Connect, when I click Connect, when I click Learn, you'll notice that these 2 masterclasses, they've just gone live, and each one as we promote it will go live. We've done this differently so the content is on there, but if I scroll down, you can also find hubs that we are connected with that you can access. So in here, you can see that we pull together content and we're looking for partners to connect with. For that content, Textile is already a partner. You can connect with some of the suppliers who participated in the last session, and you can order samples through the site thanks to Textile. And we've shared some really helpful guidance. Some of you heard from Tiffany earlier today. This 2-minute guide is brilliant, which she put there, and we're keen to develop more of those partnerships. So if we have experts in the space, if you have organizations, if you want to put what you're doing out there and for it to be a win-win, whereby we can answer the questions that we're having in this session through creating really high quality content for our users and also promote your business, then that's a solution that supports everybody. So thank you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Tamsin. Laurent, would you like to jump into some questions? We don't have long. We've got about 3 minutes left. Maybe we quickly just mention actually the program, the rest. So we've the Pro Materials Masterclass is in half an hour's time. So if you would like access to that and you're not Pro member, then you can upgrade to access that. We've got some brilliant speakers there. There's some more description online as to what's involved there. So maybe someone can put that into the chat. And then tomorrow we've got production, manufacturing. So 3 sessions, Impact Pioneers, Impact at Scale, and then another Pro Masterclass. And then on Friday, we have packaging components, jewelry and accessories, and a Latin American sourcing showcase. So that's what's coming up at Co-Expo. Laurent, do you think we have time for one question?
I've got a suggestion. I've noticed that we have Charles Ross in the room who's giving us some really helpful responses to some of the questions, particularly around synthetics. And I wondered whether, Charles, you might want to say a few words. Charles is speaking in the next masterclass. If you have anything to share in this session, Charles, we can give you audio.
Just, Charles, if you can unmute.
Yeah, I'm here.
Brilliant.
The best thing is that we all know we don't live in a perfect world. And if there was an ideal solution to sustainability, we would all go towards it right now and we would all be in agreement. We need to disrupt the market some more, and we also need to explore every single avenue going. I find myself in a world where there's a lot of misinformation, poor information, generalizations. If we're going to really tackle the climate crisis and the biodiversity, which feeds into it at the same time, we have to explore every option. And synthetics get bad press, just like fast fashion gets bad press. But fast fashion does some amazing things to make us all happy as individuals. Synthetics also do some roles. I'd love to say they're perfect. No, they're definitely not perfect. But everything that we do has an effect. How does that sound, Tasman?
Yeah, I mean, we've got 2 minutes, so here's a tough one for you. What do you think is the biggest opportunity for us to address synthetic microfibers?
Well, synthetic microfibers aren't a big problem in the scale of things. They're more cellulosic microfibers going into the ocean. It's the fibers themselves are not dangerous. In the last week, you have passed about 5 grams of plastic through your body and you're still here. The problem is the dodgy chemicals which are in the sea that stick to the fibers and they enter the food chain that way. Things like PCBs, DDT, still widely used in Africa as a pesticide. We have PCBs, we have general herbicides and pesticides as well. So the solution to the microfiber problem, if I was to tell you there's more synthetic tire dust going into the ocean than there is from your textile clothing, there is not a clear channel, is what I'm saying. Fleeces and other such polyester garments are easy to blame, but they are a very small part. Synthetic textile dirt in the sea is less than 5% of the pollution in the sea. If you really want to get serious, look at the cellulosic waste, because that's a far bigger problem. Cellulosics, by the way, are not biodegrading like we all learned at school. We know cellulosics are taking over a decade to decompose in the sea, by which after 2 or 3 years, they end up in the food chain. So rather extended answer, Tasmin.
Luckily, we've got you in half an hour for a lot longer to spend time on those tricky questions.
Yeah.
I've just posted the link in the chat for you to access the masterclass. It is pro. So anyone who's a pro member can attend. You get everything else through being a pro member as well. All of our events, brand leaders, fireside chats, pro content, co-credits training, access to co-create if you're a business. So yeah, we hope to see many of you in that masterclass. There's going to be some brilliant speakers.
Amazing. In that case, all that's left for me to do today is thanking everybody and each and one of you who was in this session today. It was lovely to hear from you, Helen. It was lovely to hear from you, Rodrigo. All of our exhibitors today, thank you so, so much for taking part. I hope you have an amazing rest of the day, and we're going to meet in 29 minutes again. Have a good one.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.